Welcome, Seeker.
There are names that echo across history like faint whispers from forgotten temples. Names that seem less like people and more like keys to mysteries older than civilizations themselves. One of these names is Hermes Trismegistus. But who was he, really? A god? A prophet? A philosopher? Or perhaps something far stranger? His identity lies shrouded in veils of myth and time, yet his influence stretches like a golden thread through the tapestry of human thought. From ancient Egypt to classical Greece, from medieval alchemists to Renaissance magicians. Even today, his teachings are said to form the very backbone of Western esotericism. Some claim he was Thoth, the Egyptian god of wisdom, reborn in human form. Others saw him as the Greek Hermes, elevated to a divine sage. And yet, the title given to him, Trismegistus, the thrice great, suggests more than a man, more than a myth. It suggests a figure who embodied the wisdom of three worlds: divine, natural, and human. To some, Hermes Trismegistus was the great teacher who revealed the secrets of the cosmos, the alchemy of the soul, and the hidden laws by which the universe moves. To others, he was an invention, a composite of different traditions stitched together to preserve the most ancient wisdom under one timeless name. And this is where the mystery deepens. The writings attributed to him, known as the Hermetica, do not simply offer philosophy. They speak in the language of revelation, urging the reader to awaken, to remember, to see beyond the illusions of matter. They speak of the mind as divine, of the cosmos as living, and of humankind's forgotten birthright as creators of reality itself. In this journey, we will peel back the veils that surround this enigmatic figure. We will travel through the sands of Egypt, into the scrolls of Greece, and through the secret chambers of medieval alchemists. We will uncover what Hermes Trismegistus truly represented, why his teachings were hidden, and why his name continues to haunt seekers of truth across centuries. So, prepare to step into the shadowed corridors of history, where myth and reality merge, and where the question is not just who Hermes Trismegistus was, but what he still means for those who dare to seek the light of wisdom today. And if you wish to walk further into these mysteries, subscribe, share your thoughts in the comments, and keep your curiosity alive. For curiosity is the first breath of awakening. To understand Hermes Trismegistus, we must first journey to the twilight of two great civilizations, ancient Egypt and classical Greece, where myth and philosophy intertwined. In Egypt, there was Thoth, the ibis-headed god of wisdom, writing, and time. Thoth was not merely a scribe of the gods, but the very architect of cosmic order, credited with giving humanity the gift of writing, mathematics, and the sacred arts of magic. He was believed to weigh the hearts of the dead, recording the balance of truth and justice in the afterlife. For the Egyptians, Thoth was the mind of the universe itself, the principle of intelligence woven into creation. Meanwhile, in Greece, there was Hermes, the swift-footed messenger of Olympus, patron of travelers, merchants, and thieves. But beneath his playful and trickster nature lay something deeper. Hermes was also a guide of souls, a psychopomp, leading the dead into the unseen world. He, too, was a mediator between realms, the mortal and the divine, the earthly and the celestial. When the two cultures merged during the Hellenistic Age, especially in the city of Alexandria, a cauldron where Egyptian mystery traditions met Greek philosophy, the figure of Hermes Trismegistus was born. He was imagined not as a god, but as a divine sage, a primordial teacher who walked the earth in ancient times, entrusted with secret knowledge that could unlock the mysteries of the universe. The writings attributed to him, the Hermetica, were composed between the 2nd and 4th centuries CE. These texts are dialogues between Hermes and his disciples, where he reveals the secrets of the cosmos, the immortality of the soul, and the hidden principle that binds all things together. They are written in a style both philosophical and mystical, echoing Plato, yet dripping with the hieroglyphic wisdom of Egypt. The philosophical significance of Hermes Trismegistus cannot be overstated. The Hermetica spoke of a universe alive with intelligence, of God as both transcendent and immanent, of humanity as a mirror of the divine. They declared, "As above, so below." This simple phrase, known as the Hermetic principle of correspondence, became the cornerstone of mystical thought for centuries to come. Yet history was not kind to these teachings. With the rise of Christianity, the Hermetica were condemned as pagan writings, and much of the knowledge was suppressed or destroyed. Still, fragments survived. During the Renaissance, they resurfaced in Europe and were hailed as the Prisca Theologia, the primordial theology, believed to be the original wisdom given to humanity before all religions. For thinkers like Marsilio Ficino and Giordano Bruno, Hermes Trismegistus was no less than the grandfather of philosophy, the one who united Plato, Pythagoras, and the wisdom of Egypt into a single golden chain. But here lies the paradox. Was Hermes Trismegistus a real person, walking the earth in some forgotten age? Or was he a symbol, a composite myth created to preserve the memory of lost wisdom? The truth may be that he was both a name, a mask, through which ancient traditions survived the burning of libraries and the collapse of empires. To the seeker, the historical question matters less than the message itself, that wisdom is eternal and that truth, though suppressed, always finds a way to resurface. Hermes Trismegistus became the embodiment of that timeless current, a bridge between gods and men, between myth and philosophy. To understand Hermes Trismegistus, we must move beyond the surface of myth and history and descend into the heart of his teachings. His voice, preserved in the Hermetica, speaks not like a distant god, but like a master, guiding his students through the veils of reality. At the core of his message lies a single thunderous idea: the universe is mental. Everything that exists, planets, stars, gods, and men, arises first in the mind of the divine. This is the principle of mentalism, the foundation upon which Hermetic philosophy rests. The cosmos is not a cold, mechanical void. It is a living thought, an infinite consciousness in motion. Hermes declares that God is both the all and beyond the all. The divine is everywhere, in every grain of sand, every breath of wind, every star in the night sky, yet at the same time transcends all that exists. To the seeker, this truth is both liberating and terrifying. It means we are not separate from divinity, but expressions of it. Humanity is not a fallen accident, but a microcosm of the macrocosm, a spark of the infinite mind. Through this teaching, Hermes presents a paradox. If we are fragments of the divine, why do we suffer, forget, and live in ignorance? The Hermetica answers with an ancient drama, the descent of the soul. We, once radiant beings, descended through the spheres of the cosmos, clothed in layer after layer of materiality, until we arrived here on earth, half remembering our divine origin. Our task, then, is not merely to live, but to remember. Hermes calls this process gnosis, direct knowledge of the divine. Not knowledge of the mind alone, but of the heart and soul. It is a knowing that transforms, awakening the inner vision. He tells his disciples, "You are not a mortal body, but an immortal soul. Know this, and you will see the divine in yourself and in all things." But knowledge is not given freely. It is guarded, hidden beneath layers of allegory and symbol. Hermes teaches through paradox, forcing the student to struggle, to stretch beyond ordinary thought. For only through inner effort does the truth ignite into wisdom. Imagine then that Hermes Trismegistus was not one man, but a mirror reflecting back the wisdom of the ages to all who dared look. To the Egyptians, he was Thoth. To the Greeks, Hermes. To the alchemists of the Renaissance, he was the secret patron of transformation. To the modern seeker, He is a voice reminding us that the divine mind is not elsewhere, it beats within us. This is why Hermes was called Trismegistus, thrice great. Great in wisdom, great in knowledge, and great in teaching. His greatness was not about power or glory, but about revealing the structure of reality itself. The divine speaks through him, saying, "As above, so below. As within, so without." These words are not poetry, but a key to understanding the laws that bind the cosmos. And here lies the mystery. Hermes' teachings are not mere philosophy, not abstract speculation. They are a map of consciousness. To study them is to embark on a journey from ignorance to illumination, from fragmentation to wholeness. It is a journey we will now continue, deeper into the hidden doctrines attributed to Hermes Trismegistus, uncovering truths that challenge not only what we think we know about him, but about ourselves. If you've followed this far, consider subscribing and joining our community of seekers. Share your thoughts in the comments. Do you believe Hermes was a real sage, or an eternal symbol of wisdom itself? If the first part of Hermes' teaching is that the universe is mental, then the second is that transformation is possible. For the Hermetic tradition is not content with describing reality. It is a science of the soul, a manual for inner alchemy. Here we encounter one of the greatest paradoxes of Hermes Trismegistus. Was he a philosopher, a priest, or a magician? To the Egyptians, he was Thoth, master of writing, keeper of the divine archives, and guardian of time itself. To the Greeks, he was Hermes, messenger of the gods, trickster, and guide of souls. When these two figures fused into Hermes Trismegistus, the result was not just a mythical sage, but the embodiment of universal wisdom. But myths are never just stories. They are codes. In the Hermetic view, reality itself is structured through correspondence. What happens in the heavens reflects on earth, and what occurs within the soul mirrors the cosmos. This is why Hermes' most famous maxim, "As above, so below," is not just mystical poetry, but the law of unity. The stars are not distant. They are written into our very being. During the Renaissance, secret societies, alchemists, and philosophers seized upon this teaching. They believed Hermes had revealed the formula of spiritual rebirth. Just as base metals can be transmuted into gold, so too can the human soul be transfigured into its divine essence. Alchemy, then, was never about furnaces and minerals. It was about the fire of consciousness, the purification of the self. And yet, Hermes himself remains elusive. Historians debate whether he ever existed as a historical figure. Some argue he was a composite of Egyptian priests and Greek philosophers, while others see him as an entirely symbolic figure, created to embody the wisdom of many cultures. But to seekers, this debate misses the point. Hermes is not about historical flesh and bone. He is about the timeless archetype of the sage, the eternal teacher who emerges whenever humanity is ready to hear. Still, mysteries surround him. Ancient legends tell of the Emerald Tablet, a cryptic inscription said to contain the essence of Hermetic wisdom in a few short lines. Alchemists revered it as the key to transformation, the origin of the phrase, "As above, so below." Did Hermes himself inscribe it? Or was it a later invention attributed to him to give authority to hidden doctrines? The answer remains shrouded in the mists of time. Yet whether Hermes was a man, a myth, or something in between, his voice continues to echo. It speaks of the soul's imprisonment in matter, of the possibility of awakening, and of the great cosmic law, that the visible and invisible are woven together like threads in a tapestry. But here lies the deeper challenge. To read Hermes is not enough. His words are designed to awaken something dormant within. They are not mere philosophy, but initiation. The seeker is meant to experience them, to wrestle with them, to be reshaped by them. Hermes does not give easy answers. He gives riddles that open into revelation. This is why his identity is ultimately a mystery. To some, He was a sage who lived in Egypt, a contemporary of Moses or older still. To others, he was a symbolic bridge between civilizations, and to the initiated, he is not past at all, he is present. He is the eternal voice of wisdom that speaks whenever a soul dares to ask, "Who am I, and what is the nature of reality?" And so, perhaps the real question is not who Hermes Trismegistus was, but who he is now within you. If you're finding this exploration thought-provoking, make sure to subscribe and share your reflections in the comments. Do you believe Hermes was a man of history, or an eternal archetype living within human consciousness? The writings attributed to Hermes Trismegistus were never meant to be admired from a distance like relics in a museum. They were manuals for transformation, designed to be practiced, lived, and tested. Hermes himself, whether man or myth, presents not just a vision of the cosmos, but a way of walking through it. The first and most essential practice is contemplation of the mind as the source of reality. The Hermetic principle of mentalism tells us, the all is mind. The universe is mental. This means that every circumstance we experience is filtered and shaped by consciousness. In practical terms, it invites us to treat our thoughts not as fleeting accidents, but as seeds that take root in the soil of reality. A simple exercise is to begin the day with intentional thought crafting. Sit quietly, breathe deeply, and plant 3 clear thoughts into the silence. 1 for gratitude, 1 for purpose, and 1 for alignment with the higher self. In Hermetic terms, this is not mere positive thinking. It is an act of creation, a rehearsal of the divine act that brought the cosmos into being. The second practice is living the law of correspondence. As above, so below. As within, so without. This principle teaches that patterns repeat across levels of reality. To apply it, begin observing how your inner state influences your outer world. Keep a journal that tracks emotions and daily experiences, and you will soon see the mirrors that Hermes spoke of. By aligning your inner world, you inevitably reshape your outer one. A third application lies in Hermetic meditation on polarity. Hermes taught that all dualities, light and dark, heat and cold, love and hate, are not separate entities, but degrees of the same essence. To practice this, take a strong emotion, such as fear or anger, and visualize its opposite, like courage or peace. Then, see both as points on the same spectrum. Through repeated practice, you train yourself not to be enslaved by extremes, but to navigate between them consciously. The most advanced Hermetic practice is perhaps inner alchemy. True alchemy, as Hermes revealed, was never about gold in the furnace, but about refining the self. The lead to be transformed is ignorance, ego, and unconscious habit. The gold is illumination, freedom, and the realization of one's divine nature. Begin by identifying a base metal within yourself, perhaps envy, doubt, or fear. Then ask, what is its purified form? What higher energy does it conceal? In this way, every vice becomes a hidden virtue in the making. But Hermes also warns, this work requires patience. The emerald tablet whispers of separating the subtle from the gross, gently and with great ingenuity. This is a call for persistence, humility, and the willingness to fail, refine, and try again. Spiritual alchemy is not achieved in a single meditation or ritual. It is the lifelong art of becoming. And yet, the beauty of Hermetic practice is its adaptability. You need not live in an ancient temple or secluded monastery to live like Hermes. Every thought, every choice, every moment of awareness becomes the crucible in which transformation unfolds. In this sense, Hermes Trismegistus is less a distant sage and more a companion, an invisible guide who whispers through synchronicities, insights, and those sudden sparks of clarity we often ignore. So if you truly wish to know who Hermes is, do not only read about him, practice his principles, test them in your own life. Allow them to reshape how you see the world and yourself. Only then does the mystery unfold, not in books, but in the mirror of your own being. If you feel inspired to apply these teachings, subscribe and share in the comments. Which Hermetic principle do you feel most drawn to practice? Mentalism, correspondence, polarity, or alchemy? Who was Hermes Trismegistus, really? A man, a god, a sage, or a symbol? The truth is woven like a tapestry, each thread both real and metaphorical. To the ancients, he was the bridge between Greece and Egypt, the unifier of Hermes and Thoth. To mystics, he was the eternal teacher whose wisdom echoes across time. And to us today, he is an archetype of the seeker, the one who dares to grasp the hidden order behind appearances. The Hermetic writings attributed to him are not dusty relics of a forgotten age. They are living currents of wisdom, speaking in symbols that still awaken minds willing to listen. A whisper of the divine spark within each of us, reminding us that enlightenment is not found in temples or tombs, but in the transformation of our own consciousness. Perhaps the truest answer to the question, who was Hermes Trismegistus, is this: he is whoever dares to walk the path of wisdom. He is you, if you choose to awaken. He is me, if I choose to practice what I teach. Hermes is not only a figure of history, but a living principle, reborn in every soul that strives to unite knowledge with spirit. And maybe that is why he was called thrice great, because his wisdom transcends the boundaries of time, culture, and even identity. He belongs to no single tradition, yet he touches them all. He is the eternal teacher behind the veil, always waiting for us to ask the right questions. So I leave you with this. If Hermes Trismegistus stood before you today and whispered a single truth into your ear, what do you believe it would be? Reflect on that and share your thoughts in the comments. I would love to hear them. And if you felt the spark of Hermes in this journey, remember to subscribe so we can continue to explore these hidden truths together. Because the story of Hermes is not over, it lives on in us.